Sacco and Felice, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFelice.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The Anasazi, the Indians, the famous Indian tribe of the great Southwest, viewed as brilliant architects, visionaries, geniuses that had a peaceful farmland, agricultural community for decades in the great Southwest. Also very spiritual, understood astronomy. They were the intellectuals of the Indians, the intellectuals of American Indians. And then they mysteriously disappeared. They mysteriously were taken up by ancient aliens. No one knows how they disappeared. It turns out that's not true. In the past 3 or 4 years, massive amounts of DNA work has been done on their bones and on the Anasazi Indians. And what they found was that they did not disappear. They are still among us. And the way their society collapsed, the way their society failed after decades and decades of enormous success, what happened to them is very dark, very disturbing. And you and I will talk about it coming up. Wait till you hear what actually happened to the Anasazi Indians of the great Southwest. It's a remarkable and terrifying and telling story that applies to us right now. Now, the Anasazi Indians, they were always viewed separately by science and by you and me as being highly advanced, astronomically savvy, aware of all of the conspiracies of their day, advanced farmers, could raise crops, manage herds of animals, a very advanced civilization. And then they disappeared. Absolutely no one knows what happened to them. And that was until 2017. And in 2017, DNA started to get to the point where it could be studied and understood as to maybe what did happen to them. Where did they go? And there was a very advanced study of their bones, of their architecture, of their life, even of their poop, to find out what happened to them. And what turned out was much darker, much more serious, and much more applicable to this moment. And just like this moment, nobody in the scientific community wanted to believe it. Nobody wanted to know about it. Scientists who brought it up and said, this is what happened to the Anasazi, they were banished. Other scientists said, please don't talk about this. Please do not reveal what happened to them now. Make sure you have every single piece of evidence possible. And the tests on the DNA were done over and over and over again. Different parts of the tribe, different geography, and yet the results kept coming back the same. It kept coming back the same over and over again. And just like today, when facts are overwhelming about what may have happened, what might be going on, that sometimes it's very inconvenient. And people don't want to know about it, and they don't want to talk about it. And yet it's a fact, and it's not an opinion. It's not what somebody feels like. It's not what somebody doesn't think it's appropriate, doesn't think it should be discussed, but very real. Here's what's going on, maybe going on today. And then we'll find out what the Anasazi, What happened to them?
The cannibalism, the babies,
The code words in the emails, literal emails of Epstein and Bill Gates, like these are known entities starting to talk about jerky. And then they're talking about the intestines of babies. They're talking about cream cheese. Like, I welcome anyone to prove me wrong because I hope this is not true. But when we mentioned jerky, that was the more elite human meat is what I'm interpreting this as. There were emails from people, redacted names again, saying, hey, I have 68 pounds of jerky in my freezer. I'm not sure what to do with it. There were emails of, I need more jerky. I'm going to send it to the lab. When he knew they were coming after him, they knew they were going to come arrest him. He ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid, which is
what?
Which is how you would dispose of babies. And there are mentions, and now Congress is actually speaking about it. They did this week, spoke about Zora Ranch and how there's so many mentions of bury them in Zora Ranch, leave them in Zora Ranch. And now that's 7,000 acres of land that Jeffrey Epstein owns in New Mexico. And it's actively working right now. And then just to add to that, the chef that was making the jerky, that was sending recipes, that was on the island, was Francis Derby.
Who's that?
Francis Derby owns the restaurant Cannibal.
What?
Yes.
Wait, there's a restaurant called Cannibal?
Cannibal and Cooking.
Is it actual cannibalism? No, it can't be. That'd be illegal. He'd be shut down.
But is it so tongue-in-cheek? Did they think they were so smart that they could go that far?
Throughout history, the elites in society, from the Mayans to many Indian tribes, the elites were cannibals. To this day, there are tribes throughout the world where the elites are cannibals, and the people who control the tribes subjugate the rest of them to cannibalism. This has been a dark, horrible part of human nature since the beginning. The worst aspect of human nature, the very first thing, the very worst thing that happens when we become isolated, when we become desperate, is, did they become cannibals? Well, yeah, maybe they became cannibals. That's what can happen. The Anasazi, what happened to the Anasazi, how they disappeared and why they disappeared, is a stunning story, because they were in fact farmers, peaceful, loving, and then their world was completely turned upside down. It was completely changed. And it was because of the introduction of a not native tribe that people from thousands of miles away from the American Southwest, people from thousands of miles south, migrated to their tribal areas. And what happened after that is stunning.
Listen to this podcast now
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.